My name is Daniel Harris, and I still remember the exact moment my wife looked at me and said the words that quietly shattered the foundation of our marriage. We were sitting at the small wooden dining table in our apartment, the same table where we once laughed over burnt dinners and shared dreams about growing old together. She didn't raise her voice, didn't cry, didn't hesitate. She simply said, "It's just once. Just one weekend with another person, to free my feelings." Her name is Laura Harris, and at that moment, she spoke as if she were asking permission to breathe. At first, I thought I had misunderstood her. I asked her to repeat what she meant, hoping my ears had betrayed me. But she calmly explained that she felt trapped, emotionally suffocated, and curious about a life she never explored. She said she loved me, but not in the way she used to. She insisted it wasn't about replacing me, only about understanding herself. The room felt smaller with every word she spoke, as if the walls themselves were listening in disbelief. He'd been married for 9 years. 9 years of shared routines, quiet mornings, arguments over silly things, and reconciliations that ended in laughter. Laura used to hold my hand in public, used to text me random memories from our early days, used to look at me like I was home. Somewhere along the way, that look faded, and I didn't even realize when it happened. I was too busy working overtime, chasing stability, believing love was something that stayed as long as you didn't abandon it. Laura told me she had met someone named Ethan Miller during a company retreat. She said he listened to her, understood her emotions, and made her feel alive. She insisted nothing had happened yet, but she wanted honesty instead of secrecy. She said lying would be worse than asking. That sentence hurt the most, because it made me feel unreasonable for feeling broken. Spent that night staring at the ceiling, replaying her words over and over again. I wondered if saying no would make me controlling, or if saying yes would make me weak. I wondered when marriage turned into a negotiation of boundaries that once felt sacred. By morning, exhaustion replaced anger. I told her I needed time, but she had already made up her mind. The weekend was planned. The bags were half packed. When Laura left that Friday afternoon, she hugged me longer than usual. She whispered that she hoped I would understand and that this would make us stronger. The door closed behind her, and for the first time in years, the apartment felt empty in a way I had never experienced. I didn't cry immediately. I cleaned the kitchen, folded laundry, and tried to act normal, as if routine could protect me from reality. On Saturday evening, I received a message from my old friend Marcus Reed. He asked how married life was treating me. I stared at the screen for a long time before replying. Instead of telling the truth, I said everything was fine. But something inside me broke at that moment. I realized I was protecting a marriage that wasn't protecting me. That night, memories flooded my mind. The day Laura and I met at a bookstore. The way she laughed when I spilled coffee on my shirt during our first date. The promises we made, not loudly, but sincerely. I wondered if those promises had an expiration date I never noticed. Laura returned on Sunday night. She looked lighter, calmer, almost relieved. She told me the weekend helped her clarify her emotions. She said Ethan was kind, but the experience made her realize how complicated love really is. She expected me to ask questions, to demand details, to explode. Instead, I stayed silent. Silence, I learned, can sometimes be louder than anger. Over the next few weeks, our conversations became polite but distant. We talked about groceries, bills, and work, but never about feelings. Laura sensed the shift and accused me of pulling away. I wanted to scream that she had already pushed me off the edge, but I didn't. I simply told her I was tired. One evening, while sorting old photos, I found a picture of us from our 3rd anniversary. We looked genuinely happy. Not perfect, but real. I realized something important in that moment. Love doesn't disappear suddenly. It erodes slowly when effort becomes optional and honesty becomes selective. Eventually, Laura admitted that the weekend didn't fix anything. It only made the distance between us more visible. She said she felt guilty but also confused. She wanted reassurance without taking responsibility. I finally spoke honestly. I told her that love cannot be tested like an experiment without consequences. That trust, once bent, never returns to its original shape. Decided to separate, not out of hatred, but out of acceptance. There were tears, apologies, and regrets on both sides. We were not villains in each other's story, just two people who stopped choosing each other daily. Walking away was painful, but staying would have been dishonest. Months later, I learned to rebuild myself. I reconnected with friends, rediscovered passions, and learned the value of self-respect. Laura moved on too, searching for clarity she once thought was missing. Our paths diverged, not because love failed, but because commitment did. Love is not about freedom without responsibility. Marriage is not a pause button you can press when emotions feel inconvenient. True commitment means working through confusion together, not escaping it alone. When honesty lacks loyalty, it becomes cruelty disguised as truth. This video touched your heart or made you reflect on relationships and trust. Please share it with others. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more meaningful stories that reflect real life and real emotions.